Welcome to our video on the iconic Autobot Metroplex. As one of the largest and most powerful members of the Autobot team, Metroplex has played a crucial role in many of the battles against the Decepticons in the Transformers universe. Standing at an impressive height and boasting incredible strength, Metroplex is able to transform into both a robot and a city mode. His vast array of facilities and resources make him a powerful and formidable asset to the team. In this video, we'll take a closer look at Metroplex's history, abilities, and significance in the Transformers universe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our video on the mighty Metroplex. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Metroplex backstory explained. Metroplex is a massive Autobot with the ability to transform into a metropolis. Metroplex is a capable weapon in the Autobot ranks who is unconcerned about his personal safety and is prepared to sacrifice anything to ensure victory for his friends in the conflict. He possesses incredible strength, is armed with rockets, and is not afraid to shatter Decepticon commanders with his fist. He is a massive, towering warrior who can channel incredible energy through his weapons. He is humble about his tremendous strength, and he isn't very communicative, but most cities aren't. His main rival is the colossal Decepticon, Trypticon, his forever foe. Metroplex has 3 normal-sized companions to assist him in patrolling and protecting his territory: Six Gun, Slammer, and Scamper. Metroplex's domain is occasionally confusing. Sometimes he is an autonomous Autobot base, while at others, he is a portion of or the entirety of Autobot City. The circumstances behind Metroplex's creations are unclear, but considering that he only answers to Optimus Prime, it is assumed the Primes formed him outside of their metropolis. Metroplex has exhibited unwavering devotion to Optimus Prime and a deep affection for Cybertron. Despite his empathetic qualities, he is revealed to have a very short temper, crushing numerous Decepticons whose weaponry was ineffective against him and slaying Megatron with a single hit to the chest. He eventually wound himself in the stasis lockup where Iacon was developed, inadvertently becoming its central focus. Metroplex initially appears as a city in Transformers the movie and as a bot in the 5 Faces of Darkness series in the G1 show. Surprisingly, for a 1980s series, he was put to sleep to avoid becoming contaminated by the hate plague. While he is solidly established in that continuity as an intentionally made life form, his origins are kept uncertain in the Aligned Timeline family. In the American animated series, Metroplex is a powerful Autobot who is voiced by Bud Davis. He is a section of the greater Autobot City, which serves as the principal headquarters of the Autobots on Earth. He is able to transform into both a robot and a city mode. In the series, during a Decepticon attack on the city, the morphing cog that enables Metroplex to shift to robot mode is damaged, preventing him from engaging in combat. However, the Autobots inside him are able to manually switch him to battle station mode. Later in the series, Perceptor, one of the Autobot scientists, constructs a new cog and assigned its deployment to Blur and Wheelie to repair Metroplex. Unfortunately, while they were distracted by other setbacks, the immovable Metroplex was targeted by Trypticon, one of the Decepticons' giant robots, and the Autobots inside him were forced to manually shift him into battle station mode in the hopes of staging some sort of defense. During the battle, Pipes, another Autobot, transported and implanted the cog into Metroplex, who quickly converted into robot mode, pummeling Trypticon and threw him into the water. Although the Autobots assumed that this was the last of Trypticon, the evil metropolis persisted and began looting national artifacts to repay Octane's loan to a male named Abdul Fakadi. When dinosaur transformation static was discovered at the crime scene, Metroplex and his aides interrogated all Autobots with dinosaur particles in their circuitry. But when Trypticon was determined to be the culprit, Metroplex confronted him in Russia. However, to his great disappointment, Metroplex was left holding the tower, and the Soviets accused the Autobots of the robberies and evicted them. Fakadi, on the other hand, invited the Autobots to his nation of Carbomia to help dislodge the Decepticons who had taken control, and Metroplex handed another crushing defeat to Trypticon, flinging him into the water once again and restoring the stolen structures to their rightful position. Later on, the spirit of Starscream, a Decepticon, seized Scourge and entered Metroplex, seizing the gigantic robot's optical systems as part of his agreement with Unicorn, a powerful transformer and chaos bringer, to secure their mutual restoration. In the midst of the onslaught, Metroplex converted into robot mode and, learning that he couldn't see, flew into a frenzy, shooting at all the Transformers throughout the area until a photon charge put into his brain by Scourge exploded, knocking him out. After the enemy's plot was stopped, Metroplex received new eyes. Unfortunately, Metroplex's transforming cog problems resumed when Swindle, a Decepticon, swiped the component right under First Aid's gaze. With Metroplex locked in his city version, the Autobots fought back by snatching Trypticon's cog and installing it as a substitute. The Decepticons then used Metroplex's cog instead of Trypticon's. However, the inconsistencies of the parts in each of the monster robots led to a perilous fight, with both combatants incompletely morphing back and forth repeatedly. During the fight, First Aid entered Metroplex's body and properly positioned the cog, prompting Metroplex to fully shift and yet again toss Trypticon into a pool of water. Once the Hate Plague, a Decepticon-created virus, overtook the cosmos, Rodimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots, understood the threat that a diseased Metroplex would represent and regretfully opted to disable him. Metroplex acknowledged and cooperated with his choice. However, it is not stated if this move was temporary or whether it would completely disconnect Metroplex.
メトロフレックスなんと危機を救ったのはメトロフレックスだった
Metroplex in the Headmasters and Prime Wars trilogy cartoon. In the Headmasters cartoon, Metroplex's shutdown was not as permanent as it was portrayed in the Japanese anime Headmasters series. His role in the series was similar to that of Trypticon in Series 3 of the American show, defeating him on multiple occasions. Although it is widely assumed that Metroplex cannot fly, he was shown flying in robot mode in the last episode of the Japanese exclusive Headmasters series. Fortress Maximus designated Metroplex as the next Autobot Earth commander following the passing of Ultra Magnus. In the Prime Wars trilogy cartoons, Metroplex is voiced by Michael Green and serves as one of the first Titans. His role is to travel to new worlds and help spread Cybertronian life, resting in city form until it is time for him to relocate to the next world. This is how he ultimately ended up on Cybertron, with the Metroplex city being built around him. He would communicate with city speaker Windblade, who was tasked with maintaining a connection with Metroplex and relaying important information. However, as the Combiner Wars began, Windblade abandoned her duty and fought alongside the Combiners. This caused a rift in their connection, but it was re-established after Windblade apologized and begged for his assistance in the battle against Starscream. Throughout the series, Metroplex and Windblade maintained a strong connection, with Windblade using their bond to have Metroplex assist in battles against the Decepticons. They were both present during Cybertron's restoration and were able to witness Trypticon's revival following the Combiner Wars. However, Metroplex realizes that Trypticon was planning to abandon Cybertron and decided to battle him personally to protect his home. Despite Windblade's warning that he was too damaged, Metroplex engaged in a fierce fight with Trypticon, but ultimately he was overpowered and killed. Windblade mourned for Metroplex after Fortress Maximus recalled his name. The death of Metroplex serves as a reminder of the sacrifices made in the fight for Cybertron's survival and the importance of the bond between the Titans and the city speakers. Metroplex's story in various comic books. Metroplex was built as part of the Autobots' Scramble City project to build a powerful combat station in the Fight Super Robot Lifeform Transformer manga. However, during the early stages of the project, the Decepticons Astro Train and Reflector were able to observe the Autobots testing Metroplex's ability to shift to mobile fortress mode. Megatron was able to determine that Metroplex would be able to stand up against Trypticon, but the Autobots tricked Trypticon into thinking Metroplex was in robot form and threw him into the water, deceiving him. In the Scramble City OVA, to conclude the Scramble City plan, the Autobots relocated their operation to a hidden underground cave, but the Decepticons' spy tapes discovered the underground base and launched an all-out Decepticon attack. The Decepticon Combiners controlled the battle until the finished Metroplex was launched and annihilated them in a single blast. As the Autobots rejoiced in their triumph, the adjacent ocean separated, revealing Trypticon for his first combat with Metroplex. This fight never took place, since the second installment of Scramble City was never completed. Metroplex makes an appearance in the Marvel UK's Space Pirates storyline. Here, Metroplex was woven into the structure of Autobot City. As a final line of defense, he lay inert underneath the city. Rodimus Prime momentarily turned back to Hot Rod when the Quintessons brutally assaulted and seized command of Autobot City. He was able to chase the Quintessons away, but the city was severely severely damaged when he escaped, making it a hollow victory for the Autobots. Metroplex's biography is also included in the Transformers Universe collection, where Metroplex's name was most likely Fortress Maximus. In a caption, the Marvel Comics version of the 1986 film refers to Autobot City as Fortress Maximus. Metroplex is stated to be 698 feet tall in a special booklet featured with issue 200 of the UK Marvel serial Time Wars, over 7 times the height of Devastator. In the Dreamwave comics continuity, after overthrowing Shockwave on Cybertron and handing over the authority of the planet to Ultra Magnus, Prowl and a significant number of the Autobots proceeded to Earth to begin work on Autobot City. During construction, Hound was spotted displaying a hologram of Metroplex, probably as a template. In the IDW comics continuity, Metroplex is the sole defender of IT with a capital I. What IT is remains unknown, but keeping it secure, according to Metroplex, is more essential than the survival of each of the Autobots. He is the last line of defense. He hid amid the derelict city wreckage of Sawatan 8 sometime after the Expanse catastrophe. He waited until the Throttlebots escaped there to avoid Sixshot, who was after the team's scientific data. He remained concealed for most of their combat, but came to the rescue of his other Autobots at the final moment and easily beat the Decepticon Super Trooper. He refused to offer any further aid beyond providing the Throttlebots Energon when he left the planet to look for a new hiding spot for it. However, it grieved him tremendously to be compelled to leave them suffering. He can indeed fly, as is revealed in this comic book series. He is the Metropolis in the sky. Metroplex is shown to be Alpha Trion's personal bodyguard. Many think that Metroplex was most likely using it to allude to the long term or some other philosophical word. Anyway, when Ironhide had beaten up the majority of the swarm and was now on the run, Metroplex decided to put his foot down. The Metropolis in the heavens then vanished. Metroplex was confirmed to be one of the Transformers chosen to be portrayed in the G1 Spotlight comics in an interview provided by IDW's Chris Ryle and Andy Schmidt at IDW's New York Comic Con toy panel.
Metroplex heeds the call of the last pride.
Metroplex in Transformers Fall of Cybertron game. Metroplex is one of the most powerful and essential characters in the video game Fall of Cybertron. He is considered the most robust playable character in the game, surpassing even Bruticus and Grimlock. Metroplex had been dormant for centuries, lying in wait for the right moment to be activated. This moment came when Megatron and Decepticons invaded the Ark, the Autobots' base of operations. Optimus Prime, the Autobot commander, discovered Metroplex and activated him by flipping a few switches. Inside, the city began to change and transform, adapting to fit Optimus's size and form. Once activated, Metroplex proved to be a valuable asset to the Autobots, quickly eliminating a large number of Decepticon forces and destroying Megatron's own giant weapons. However, despite his power, Metroplex was not invincible. He was eventually killed by a blast from a Decepticon tower, but not before he was able to take out Megatron. Optimus was captured by the Decepticons and brought before Megatron. However, before the Decepticon leader could gloat, Metroplex reappeared, still alive and ready for battle. He overpowered Megatron and killed him, causing the Decepticons to retreat. But in spite of his victory, he had to sacrifice himself. The Energon required to power him and Autobot City had depleted the Autobot supply, preventing the Ark from launching. But Metroplex offered to sacrifice himself, linking his spark to the Ark's gas tanks and providing enough energy for the ship to launch. As the Autobots left Cybertron, Metroplex's final thoughts were, "Till all are one." His sacrifice was remembered by Optimus and the Autobots, and his legacy lived on as a hero and mighty warrior in the fight against the Decepticons. As a tribute to the Autobot Metropolis, a suburban mall was named the Metroplex Mall in Transformers the Game, the computer game tie-in for the 2007 film. Metroplex Toy Line Generation 1 Metroplex Autobot City 1986 to 2008. Metroplex turns from a gigantic machine to a multi-leveled metropolis, primarily for use with Generation 1's smaller toys. This model features a servicing bay with a launching system, a helipad, and storage for 6 automobiles in whichever configuration his legs stretch out to be. He also comes with a third mobile combat station mode, which is a more condensed wheeled form with all of his armor armaments. Furthermore, his weapons are all molded with universal-sized pegs that allow them to be attached in a variety of combinations and positions. Scamper, 6-gun, and Slammer were included with Metroplex. The first two comprised various elements of Metroplex's other modes. Given the high level of connectivity he has with some of the other toys known to be part of the Diaclone range called Free Combination, Metroplex was probably created as part of the line's cancelled Diaclone line. Each of these four groups more miniature limb robots, as well as those that followed using their basic design, such as the Technobots, Terracons, and Seacons, can connect into terminals on Metroplex's shoulders and knees in robot mode. In contrast, the core modes of the four leaders, Hotspot, Motormaster, Onslaught, and Silverbolt, can connect to him in city mode. The former was mentioned in the Hasbro manuals, while the latter was not. Metroplex's weaponry is also small enough to be used by the commanders and super robots created by these teams. Metroplex, as a third-year component, was one of the numerous pieces that underwent material changes. Metroplex's early models had rubber tires and the lines of the upper legs were totally chromed silver. After a while, he was updated with single-piece hard plastic tires, and his legs were replaced with white plastic with a silvery factory-applied label at the top. The plastic tire version, on the other hand, had a waist strengthened with 2 screw points rather than 1 in an attempt to avoid Metroplex from actually breaking in half, as a number of the original ones did owing to a weak area on the waist. Metroplex has a very high number of fragile and breakable parts for a toy with no diecast. Aside from his waist, the launcher within his chest, the pin on his back, his extended shoulder antenna, Scamper's arm hinges, and Scamper's arm pegs are all incredibly delicate and can break or fail in a variety of ways. Metroplex was relaunched as number 12 into Kara's Transformers Encore series in September 2008. Noted modifications from the earlier design that were included with this set were a biocard, completely chromed thighs, and rubber tires. It featured an extra peg on Slammer's cannon that may become a part of the constructing tower. Like the original form, Scamper has a locking pin on his back. Like the previous one, the Japanese version contains fully working spring-firing missiles. Metro Titan was also created using this mold. Metroplex 2001. Metroplex was a chase model in Wave 4 of the non-transformable Super Collection figure series. He was also launched when the line was relaunched in the United States as Heroes of Cybertron. His components were dispersed across various individuals in the wave. There were color and pewter variants available. Metroplex Titan Class 2013. Generations Metroplex, the centerpiece of Hasbro's Thrilling 30 celebration campaign, reaches roughly 24 inches tall in robot mode, taking the title of the biggest Transformers toy ever created, surpassing the iconic Fortress Maximus toy by 2 inches. His package is an excellent example of this, with multiple over 2 feet tall announcements, a measurement scale along the border, and the slogans "biggest ever" in large letters. His robot mode is exceptionally articulated, with individually jointed fingers and movable pupils that move from side to side when a gear behind his head is adjusted. He also features a cartoon-accurate visor that flips down once his antennae are pulled forward and up when they are twisted back, or when the visor is pushed up with one's fingers. He comes with a big spring-loaded missile-firing rifle that he may hold in his hand or attach to a 5mm socket on his back to act as a shoulder-mounted firearm. The cannon is so massive that it has a bridge and countless miniature turrets to mimic a spacecraft, and its muzzle tip is molded in orange acrylic for safety. He is also equipped with 2 more miniature cannons that are designed to be pegged onto the guns of his shoulders, but may alternatively be handled by the hand. Metroplex has multiple 5mm peg holes for firearm installation, and his weapons have 5mm pegs as well. When the center of his chest is squeezed, his eyes and chest brighten up, and he plays a rotating series of 7 audio clips and 5 sound effects from the Fall of Cybertron computer game depicting him destroying a Decepticon threat. No batteries are provided. He can morph into a multi-wheeled airliner or a city mode, and both are intended and built to connect with the Thrilling 30 Legends class items. Metroplex's head turns into a cannon with 5mm grips in all modes, and a ramp emerges from the right-hand side of his torso. His aircraft carrier version is equipped with the now extended guns on his flanks, has a flexible repair claw arm attached through a 5mm post at the finish of the runway, and has a flip-out double-barreled cannon, as well as a tiny helipad on his left shoulder. Meanwhile, his city mode features numerous roads and highways, ramps and containers, is equipped with a flip-out turret on his forearm, and the side of his chest expands, revealing hidden shaped weaponry at the bottom half, and a larger helipad and 2 flip-out pillars of unexplained reason at the top half. Cybertron Metroplex Leader Class 2005-2006. Metroplex Cybertron morphs into a gigantian bucket wheeled loader. In this form, his bucket wheel or shovel component is mounted on a rotator and comprises several ratchet joints. Moreover, the wheel will spin but not freely. In robot mode, this component transforms into Metroplex's giant axe spark drinker with a slot on the scoop to connect his pack-in Minicon sidekick drill bit or any additional Minicon in vehicle mode. Embedding a cyber key into the spark drinker's key jack leaves open the rotator to form an axe head and triggers an electric light. He can wield Optimus Prime's rifle since his hands are comparable to Optimus Prime's, while Optimus can also use his gigantic spark drinker weapon. The second is the most common in the animated versions. Like his Gigantians, Quick Mix and Menasor counterparts, Metroplex has 2 robot modes, a full-sized regular mode and a smaller, sturdier and more inconsequential work version. He too is outfitted with a slew of Minicon connector hardpoints, 14 in total. The Takara Megalo Convoy version, the last toy made in the discontinued regular retail Galaxy Force series, has brilliant blue paint coatings on his shoulders and lower legs, while the Hasbro model has dark blue paint. He also has extra dark blue pigment on the caterpillar trails on his feet. Megalo Convoy also comes with a metallic painted Legends class Optimus Prime to demonstrate the proper size of the two. This is replaced with the standard Hasbro Legends class Optimus Prime in the Korean MoCom toy release. Legacy Cybertron Universe Metroplex Titan Class 2022. Metroplex, the very first Titan Class model from the Legacy line, is an intimidatingly massive figure that stands 22 inches or 55 centimeters tall in robot form, in keeping with his giant planet roots. While his work mode is mainly similar to the source material, it has been altered to be slightly distinct from the original design, including a new welding helmet designed for his work mode skull. His robot version is highly articulated with an opening jaw and converts into a bucket wheel loader in 52 stages. The initial design team chose his participation in Legacy to tie with the story premise as an energon extractor. Metroplex comes with his iconic spark drinker axe, which can be disassembled into the rotary saw and digger claw pieces to create his work mode's arms. In extractor mode, it also becomes his shovel. Drill bit, however, did not return for this generation, making Metroplex the only non-combiner Titan figure without a more diminutive sidekick. His Cyber Planet key is now also missing since it and the drill bit were both eliminated for budgetary concerns. He has a light tubing effect on his eyes and forehead, making them glow red. Metroplex's legs include fold-out panels with AI or lock system connectors, letting him link to modulators, Battlemasters and other figures from the War for Cybertron trilogy, although awkwardly due to his height. IGN officially announced this figure on the 19th of April 2022. Marvelous verdict. In conclusion, Metroplex is one of the most iconic and powerful members of the Autobot team. His ability to transform into both a robot and a city mode, coupled with his incredible strength and array of weapons and facilities, make him an invaluable asset to the Autobots in their battles against the Decepticons. He is not only a formidable warrior, but also serves as a base of operations for the team. We hope you enjoyed learning more about this iconic Autobot and his role in the Transformers universe. Thank you for watching our video. Remember to stay tuned to our channel for more videos on your favorite Transformer characters, and watch out for our next video.
メトロフレックスなんと危機を救ったのはメトロフレックスだった